Over the next 6 weeks, you will be challenged to make room in your life for what matters most, and you have volunteered to let us follow your stories for encouragement and inspiration. Well, this week your challenge is really now between you and God. For the next 7 days, choose one thing that you do on a regular basis, whether it's watch TV, go on the internet, and replace that one thing with God time. Whether it be meditating on scripture, reading scripture, listening to worship music, doing a devotional, whatever that is, going outside and enjoying nature, however you connect with God, that's your challenge. And we'll be back here next week.
Well, initially when I heard about this week's challenges, naturally I thought it was going to be easy, but it was not easy last week when I thought it was easy, so at this point I'm just open to anything that happens.
I'll probably give up some time on the computer or on the internet checking my emails.
When I heard this week's challenge, I first thought, I'm going to have to pick another TV show. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll give up Charmed this week. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to lay on my trampoline and like look up at the sky and everything, or read the Bible, read Psalms probably, 'cause it's one of my favorite books.
This is the first time that I really think this next challenge really is going to be a challenge for me. My college friends used to tease me and say that I was scared of silence. Like I always have music playing, I'm always talking, I'm always listening to someone else talk. So I think to really like hear God and talk to God and take time for Him, I have to just shut stuff off. I am thinking of giving up MySpace. I mean, it's just a week, right?
I hope that everyone had a good week. I realized that this challenge was probably, well, I would consider the most challenging of all the challenges because it was a little more personal. It was really just between you and God. Ginny, I'm going to start with you, and you can tell us how it went. Was it a challenge for you? Were you able to actually accomplish it on a daily basis?
Honestly, I think that I might have messed up from the get-go. What I had thought to give up was like internet time, MySpace, emailing, stuff like that. And so in my mind, I was just like, okay, I'm not doing that for a week. I can do that. That's part of my challenge. But it is not like a scheduled thing that I do every day. I had determined to not get on MySpace for a week, and I didn't. But I failed to really specifically, take that time and focus on God. I feel like I failed the challenge.
So were you able to do at least one day,
Yes.
you're saying? Well, how did that one day go when you did do it?
I'm very good, but for the most part, I just had determined to not be on MySpace, and that's as far as it went. I thought that it was going to be very difficult to give up MySpace for 7 days, and found that it wasn't. I really did not miss it, and I thought that was really good to know that, that it didn't have that big a hold of my life.
So you still gave up something. You're just saying you didn't necessarily replace
Right.
it with anything during the time where you probably would have said, hey, I'm going to check MySpace now.
I did find that this was the hardest challenge, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because, Taylor whines if I'm not giving her enough attention. Brett will, get angry if I'm not showing him enough attention. But God, I don't hear him whine or see his anger.
Kristen, how about you?
For the first day, I went outside and laid on my trampoline and just kind of took everything in. And that worked for the first day, but then the second day I just tried a variety of things. I think this was one of the hardest challenges so far because it was an everyday thing. For 2 days I gave up Charmed, and for the rest of the time I gave up any music that wasn't Christian music. So all my rock and country. It was difficult because I love my rock music.
Did you see any differences like in yourself personally in just your daily life?
I did see that I was a little more happier after listening to all Christian music and started listening to Simple Plan and Good Charlotte and stuff.
What about the Hills?
I like to read fiction books, and I replace that with reading scripture. Chick lit is mostly what I like, and so I replace that with reading my Bible in the car line at school, and it was good. What I was reading, I was thinking about other people or maybe other situations, not necessarily me, and then I had something happen. We had something happen in our family this week, and it was like, that is me. That was for me. Reading scripture was definitely more important than the just reading for, you know, pleasure and to kind of escape. And there are other times to read my fiction books. It wasn't like I totally gave it up. Is that cheating?
Dave, how about you?
I failed miserably. I wait till the last minute. I'm the kid in school that wrote the book, that had to do the book report, and started that night to read the book before it was due. I really had good intentions on the challenge this week. I thought, you know, I'll just get up early. I've been getting up early every day. I'll just go ahead and grab the Bible, and I'll go spend some quiet time reading the Bible and giving that time to God. And sure, I didn't get anywhere with any of that. I was having a hard time this week. I like to get up first thing in the morning and try to pray or try to meditate some, you know, think about what, you know, is going on with our family and our lives. And, you know, sometimes prayer comes right off my head, off my lips, out of my thoughts, just rolls out like nothing. And this last week, and maybe the last 2 weeks, it's like I have trouble finishing a prayer. I think that by Friday, around noontime, God said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to jerk your chain so hard, you're going to come to me. And basically that's what happened. I woke up big time. Finally I said, okay, enough of this. And I forced myself to do it, and just went through the whole thing. All these other thoughts kept trying to crop in my head, and I just said, you know, okay, I'm going through this, I'm going to finish it. And ever since I broke that chain, like, I've been able to pray again. And it's weird how that happens.
Where do the four of you feel like you could fit this in on a daily basis?
The first day I found, like, instead of doing relax, I wrote time with God. But then I found, like, whenever I was reading my scripture and everything, I found I was actually putting relax because it was relaxing.
Yeah.
Because of this challenge, I'm much more aware of where I'm getting fed. Like, before it was just Sundays, and maybe then it was life group, and now this is, I'm so aware of God in my life and in my family, and so this has been really pretty neat.